Hello everyone, my name is Silvano and welcome to my channel Silvester Official. Today I want to talk about two characters that seem to have no resemblance at all, but in fact these two characters have the same energy. And I have a personal emotional attachment to both of them, and in this video I want to highlight these two characters who really have an extraordinary impact, not only for the story development, for their own respective stories, but also have a huge impact for me personally. In this video I want to express my love and affection for these two characters, and welcome Onoda Sakamichi and Tsunayoshi Sawada. And without any further ado, let's dive into the topic. So for starters, let's start by introducing to you who Onoda Sakamichi and Tsunayoshi Sawada really is. Let's start from Onoda Sakamichi. He is simply an otaku who enters Soku High School with the intention of joining the anime club, but without him knowing that the anime club has a problem, and that is they have no members at all. And in Islam, he tries to revive this anime club by gathering enough members to be able to revive this otaku club. Then when he is in the search for members, a person named Imaizumi comes by accident, met Onoda and immediately saw how great Onoda was in cycling. This made Imaizumi very curious about what Onoda had and invited him, challenged him to have a bicycle race. Before this race, we learned that the reason why Onoda was so great at cycling was because since childhood, Onoda was very used to cycling in a great distance in order to save on travel costs by riding on 45 kilometers to Akihabara by cycling every week since 3rd grade. This makes Onoda gamble on everything he has to trying to revive his anime club just to be able to make friends. This ended with Imaizumi winning the race this time, but it all paid off because after everything that Onoda had experienced, Onoda finally realized that the anime club was not the only way for Onoda to make friends. But with the bicycle club at Soku High School, Onoda managed to gain friends and experience in this extraordinary school. And that's the beginning story of Onoda Sakamichi. Now let's move on to Tsunayoshi Sawada. Different from Onoda, who is very down to earth, Tsunayoshi Sawada is a person who has no talent at all. This makes Tsunayoshi Sawada considered as a loser, the most loser among the existing losers. However, everything changed when someone from Italy came to Japan to become a home tutor for Tsunayoshi Sawada. This home tutor is not your typical home tutor. This home tutor was very different because this home tutor who came from Italy was a baby in suit who has an extraordinary abilities despite his very small body, because he is basically a baby. From the appearances and abilities, this home tutor is beyond comprehensible. This home tutor named Reborn. It turns out that this home tutor named Reborn also has a mission to educate and teach Tsunayoshi Sawada to become a suitable person, a worthy person, to become the 10th leader of the Fongola family, a group of mafia who have extraordinary influence in the mafia world. And since his arrival, Tsuna's daily life turned into a very chaotic days, and yeah, that is the origin story of Tsunayoshi Sawada. And let's go to the next stage to discuss all the things that I like about these two characters. In general, I really like how the stories of these two series always try to spur these two characters to become better people than before. For example, Onoda Sakamichi is a person who doesn't have any friends at all, but the circumstances around him always force Onoda to be an amazing person, with Onoda always trying to meet the people's expectation around him by doing what he can do with all his might, and that is turning his pedals on the bicycle. From time to time, making Onoda someone who is firstly not expected to be everyone's hope with his extraordinary pedal strokes. This makes Onoda's path in the future is a path full of struggles, with Onoda who many times has become everyone's hope. A nerd otaku who has no friends, does not have the right to be anything. This is what makes me really like Onoda Sakamichi. A person who has no quality to be extraordinary, but from time to time he is becoming everyone's hope. A person who doesn't have enough ability but always tries his best, realize that he is a person who is more than he always imagined, he who tries to believe about himself, and believe so that all these beliefs were manifested into the real world, making Onoda a person who was originally nothing to become a person that the people around him were proud of. That was truly an extraordinary motivation, made me want to become a better person who tries to develop myself better than now. Onoda really brings a positive vibe to me, which really has a big impact on me personally in the real world. This makes me, who was originally not so confident in my real world, and seeing how hard Onoda tries to get better, it really is a great motivation for me to live my days better and better in the real world. Onoda is my source of becoming a good person. So, yeah, he really is an amazing person after all. For Tsunayoshi Sawada, even though I can't really relate to him as much as I am relate so much with Onoda Sakamichi, but basically Tsunayoshi Sawada and Onoda Sakamichi is one of the same. Suna is a loser visited by a home tutor from Italy who tried to educate, developing and forming Suna to be the successor of the 10th generation of Onoda family. The road traversed by Suna was clearly not easy because Suna was the most loser among the existing losers. This makes the character development of Suna very intriguing and extraordinary to see. From time to time, seeing Suna develop over the time, it makes me look like a proud mother who is proud of how extraordinary Suna has become in the future. These two characters are really characters that are not familiar with the future that awaits in front of them. Onoda with a bicycle club that he will be proud of, and Suna with his 10th generation of Onoda family that he really cares so much. They really turned into a person who was unrecognizable, but in truth, they were not so big, because whatever the change they experienced throughout their journey, they remain the same. Those who are aware of how weak and unworthy they really think they are. But in the end, and the truth is, they are more than what they think. Those who always think they are the no great people who are enveloped by all the shortcomings they have, they are trying to become their ideal amazing person. Each of them is trying to become their ideal version of an amazing person. All the positive energy channeled into the real world makes it the biggest motivation for them to be a competent person and a person who are able to get out from all of their shortcomings that they have. This makes those who initially don't know how much the potential they really have, how extraordinary they really are, but because they are a person who is covered by all the insecurities that they have, it makes them like stipulating that they are an incompetent person, limiting themselves and think that they are a weak people, losers and unworthy. All of this makes the moment when they are aware of how extraordinary they are, they really succeed in becoming an ideal person. The moment where the blankets that envelop themselves open from them made them finally able to be what they wanted, and that is being an extraordinary, amazing and strong people in living their own days. And it was something extraordinary that I was managed to see in these two characters. Characters on the surface looks very different when viewed from how far they are between another, who are bound one with each other, makes me really end up falling in love with these two characters. And actually that is already impressive in of itself, but if that's all, they are not special. There is one aspect that makes me really fall in love with both of them. That is, they who finally succeed in becoming a leader. This is what makes them different from others. Because we know, if that's all, there are many other characters who are capable and better than them, but not all of them have this aspect. Because basically, both of these people are shaped by their surrounding to become a leader. This is evident very clear from Onoda, but I want to start from the one I like the most, and that is Tsunayoshi Sawada. Tsunayoshi Sawada is the one who doesn't have talent in any field, and even though Reborn has tried his best to turn Suna into what Reborn wants him to be, in the end, Reborn is aware about what is Suna's biggest failure, and that is his desire to help people. Someone who really thinks all his friends are his greatest pride. This is what Reborn tries to finally develop to become everything that will be all the traits that will attach to Suna. Suna is actually a really good person, but because all the awkwardness that he has, it hinders all the potential that Suna has. But with the dying will, Dying Will is essentially the time when Tsuna at his best, because Dying Will itself is something that can bring out all the potential that someone have possessed and make them full of everything he wants and feels. In this case, with the Dying Will, Tsuna can become a person who is strong enough to protect others, able to become what Tsuna wants, and in the end, Tsuna himself finally realized that he didn't need all of those things, because in the end, Tsuna realized that even though we saw how extraordinary he had developed in his journey, in the end, Tsuna only thought that he was still bad at sport and studying. If he used Dying Will, he could get a little stronger at fighting. He didn't think of using that as a weapon to live from now on. Considering that, it's really true that things haven't changed much since then. But it's clearly different, because now they all there smile together. He had friends who will lend him a hand when he needed it. All of that was really the result of his hard work that Tsuna got. Usually others will be proud of all the achievement that they achieved in their life, but Tsuna is different. He still thinks humbly because he is a person who is basically kind, and even though the path that Tsuna went through was full of conflict, but in the end, all he ever thought about is all of his friends. That's what really made Tsuna an extraordinary person when he becomes a leader, because in his series, Tsuna has many extraordinary moments that show how great Tsuna is at being a leader. Someone who doesn't brag about himself, someone who is always humble, always proud of all of his friends, always at the forefront in terms of protecting others, willing to sacrifice for the happiness of all, always wants to help with all of his might. Despite all of the shortcomings he has, he always tries to be someone who can help everyone. He who actually never agreed to be a leader ends up being a person who is very worthy of being a leader. He is a person who doesn't care about status. He always treats everyone equally. He always praises everyone he met, even he praised all the enemies he fought in the past. Because of his strong charisma, he was able to become the one who united everyone under him as a leader of the 10th generation of the Formula family. It was truly amazing for me to see how down-to-earth Tsunayoshi Sawada really is. I really like Tsuna, people who doesn't really have a motivation or goal in his life to achieve something big, people who don't have big selfishness, manage to become a good person, because in Tsuna's eyes, all the positions, ranks, and authority are nothing in front of the word friendship, because what Tsuna is proud of in his life are all the friends he has. For Onoda, in his journey in the series, we see Onoda's development from time to time in real time. This is an advantage that not everyone has, because only in this series you can see and feel how much Onoda has grown from time to time, because we literally see everything from him. Because we always see Onoda from year to year in real time. We see how Onoda struggling in his first year, then tried to be a good senior for all of his underclassmen, and finally, Onoda managed to become the captain of his bicycle club. A person who at first is a nobody, a person who was originally not someone who was considered capable of surviving in the bicycle club, but time managed to erase all of everyone's anxiety and worries by providing that he could survive. He could become someone who could be relied on. Many times become everyone's hope, realizing their hope and dreams. It's really extraordinary. In his second year, he who experienced a tremendous loss at the loss of a senior he was proud of. How the departure of the senior has an impact on Onoda, because he always thought that he was always lacking in any way. When someone who always praises him suddenly leaves, he immediately loses all the ability he previously had, when he actually only needs simple praise to serve as encouragement. When he doesn't get it, he becomes an empty container, and it really hurts for me to see him like that. This makes Onoda continue to limit himself with everything that is in his mind, when in reality he is more than what he currently has. We can see this in the full time, and that is once again a very good advantage. And finally, when the time comes, finally everyone around him agrees to make Onoda the captain of the Sohoku club. Even with all the clumsy traits he has, he still tries to become a captain who inherits what his predecessor passed on to him. Onoda is the only one who continuously trying to carry the hope and soul of Sohoku, and that really shows when we see him develop to this point. And the most important of all is the manga of Yowamushi Pedal is still ongoing, which means there is still a lot of room for a potential development in the future, and that is a plus point that we need to consider. But for now on, when I see Onoda, I am no longer looking at the person who is down, who is always telling himself, who is always thinks that he is a pathetic person. Because of everything that happened to him, he has successfully forged into a mature and authoritative leader who brings Sohoku's dream and hopes from time to time. Onoda managed to become the best version of himself at the moment thanks to all of his friends, achievements, and hard work that he does so far. He has repeatedly experienced setbacks and being able to rise from his downturn many times, making Onoda stronger and stronger and living his days. Because basically, Onoda is just a person who values a bond and close relationship with someone, and all of the positive energy has succeeded in bringing Onoda into his best point at this moment, becoming the captain of Sohoku through extraordinary hard work. Even though it doesn't sound as extraordinary as what Tsuna succeeded, but that's a good thing because of how realistic the story of Yowamushi Pedal is. Everything in this series managed to penetrate deeply in myself. Because of how simple the storytelling of this series, it makes it easier for me to relate to Onoda than Tsuna. But beside all the comparisons I made with Onoda and Tsuna, Onoda, who has succeeded in becoming the worst version of himself at the moment, is truly an achievement that not everyone can achieve easily, and that proves how hard Onoda is in continuing to try and shape himself to become what he wanted to become to be. In conclusion, I just really love these two characters. Here's the comparison. You guys really love Thorfinn. Yes, that Thorfinn, that I have no enemy person. Yes, that person. If that is your type of guy, then this two character is my type of guy. They just really relatable to me with their amazing clunkiness and shortcomings, but always trying their hardest to be the best leader that he possibly can do for the better. He always want to do better even though they are already so strong, they are already so amazing, but they stay humble. They always stay down to earth. They always think that, oh, I'm not that great. I'm not that great of a person. I'm not that amazing. I still need to learn more and more, without they realizing that they are more than what they really is. But that's what I love about these two characters. These are the characters who will never get overshadowed by all of the achievement that they able to achieve, because in the end, they are just a kind person. They are just the loser that we once seen in their first day. They are still the same. There's nothing really changed too much about them. The impact and the development that they have is clearly really big, and that is what makes these two characters are so special, are so amazing in my opinion. And yeah, maybe that's it for this video. I hope you like and seeing how big of a value these two characters really have. And yeah, that's it. Bye bye. Matane.